Hello, hello, and welcome. I feel so much gratitude that you've prioritized some time in your day to watch this masterclass. I know that we are living in a time where as a society, we are really busy, right? You most likely have a job or a business, maybe both, maybe multiple, maybe kids, maybe multiple kids. And I know that your time is valuable. So, without further ado, I want to introduce you to my passion project, the Abundance Project, 4 shifts to creating full time freedom in part time hours. This masterclass is for you if you are a health conscious parent ready to escape the system and create more time freedom for your family. If you are a wellness entrepreneur looking to add a scalable income stream to your business, if you're a content creator, an artist, a musician seeking financial freedom while staying true to your craft, if you're a yoga teacher, a coach, or a holistic healer who wants to make a bigger impact in the world without burnout, or a soul led entrepreneur, real estate agent, or anyone craving location freedom and alignment in your work who knows you are meant for more and are ready to step into abundance. And so, some quick guidelines and intentions for you. This is not a get rich quick scheme. In fact, I've got an income disclaimer here. You must have a burning desire and passion to want to change your current life circumstances. And if you can see the vision and want the change, I will show you how to create a quantum shift, a quantum leap in your life and your business and shift your paradigm forever. So, who am I and why should you care? My name is Leanne Schweitzer, and I did what I was told most of my life. I went to school. I graduated in the top 10% of my class and I got good grades. I went to college. I did the whole college thing. And while I was in school for 4 years, getting my degree in business administration with a concentration in accounting, I was also waiting tables, working in a steakhouse down the street, making really decent money in cash tips. And ultimately, when I graduated from college, I got a job offer straight out of college for $25,000 a year salary, and I was making more money in cash tips at the steakhouse down the street. I said, heck no. I took a massive leap of faith. I'd grown up in Maine. I'd spent my whole entire life in Maine. And I moved to Colorado, a place that I'd never been before, a place that I didn't know anybody. And that is where my story really began, where I really found myself. That next 6 to 12 months, I spent snowboarding. I was still waiting tables and bartending in the pockets of my time. And my priority was snowboarding. I snowboarded 120 days that year, that season, and it was one of the best years of my life. And that's when I really got to become more health conscious. And I also became more aware of the toxic chemicals, and I became more non toxic and also a minimalist. And eventually, it led me to becoming a yoga teacher, which is my passion. I love sharing my passion with the world. It brings me so much joy to teach yoga classes. Eventually, I moved from Colorado to Oregon, where I was working in another restaurant 40 hours a week. And I was also teaching yoga at 4 different yoga studios. So eventually, I became burnt out. I knew that there had to be another way. Fast forward to becoming a mama. Now I'm an unschooling mama to our 5-year-old little girl. And I did find another way, and it was in traditional sales. That was my stepping stone, was traditional sales with a local company here in Bend, selling tea to coffee shops. And fast forward to 2020, when my husband and I both lost our jobs on the very same day. And that's when I looked into non-traditional sales, right? Network marketing. And I found out that the majority of the top earners in this industry are actually self-made millionaires, and the top earners were stay-at-home moms. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. So I started off with a low ticket company, and I eventually transitioned into high ticket affiliate marketing. And now I have the ability to be an online global business mentor. And you are here because you want to take control of your life. You want to travel more or world school your children. And most importantly, you want to get paid the way that you deserve for things that you are passionate about. You want to spend more time with your family. You want to build a legacy business, right? So I'm here to offer you a perspective shift, right? Because you have been guided on one perspective on how the world works. And so take a big breath in and let it go. And I really want to encourage you to shift your perspective, right? Imagine a world where you could live life by design, right? So that's what we're going to cover here today. 4 perspective shifts. The first one is location freedom and why online. The second one is health freedom and why you must be willing to invest in your health now or you will pay for it later. And what it means to affiliate with a high profit offer that supports the people, the planet, and your pocketbook, right? Your profit, right? Thirdly, financial freedom, how to create a real legacy for you and your family for generations to come. And last, but most certainly not least, right? Time freedom. Time freedom, the power of systems, automation, education, mentorship, and community, right? And so before we get into the perspective shifts, I want to paint a picture for the problems that we as a society are currently facing, right? In the last few years, global inflation has risen sharply, with food and energy prices up 20 to 30%, in many regions outpacing wage growth. Approximately 63% of people report living paycheck to paycheck, unable to save or invest for the future. And the reality is that AI is changing the job market. Most people are working anywhere between 1 and 3 jobs to survive, most likely building someone else's dreams instead of living life on purpose and thriving. And the sad fact is that autoimmune diseases, cancers, obesity, diabetes, heart conditions, these have skyrocketed over the last 100 years, over the last century, right? And these are not coincidences. They are incidences. They're symptoms of a system designed to profit from illness rather than cultivate wellness. And consumer debt levels have reached record highs, with the average household carrying over $90,000 in bad debt. And I know because I was one of them. I was living paycheck to paycheck. I had so much debt, right? So this is the perception. And now I want to offer you the other side of the coin, a perspective flip, right? So I really need you to put your hands on your heart, open up your mind, open up your heart to a different way of thinking. A different way of thinking, right? Shift number 1 is location freedom, right? The internet is not going anywhere. In fact, Forbes predicted in 2025 for digital marketing to be one of the highest paying careers. And you most likely already have a personal brand, right? It's your values, your core beliefs. It is what you stand for and resonate with in life. And you are just not yet monetizing it, right? People buy you. They don't buy your products or services. They buy you. And this is how you recession proof your business, by building a magnetic personal brand, right? This is how you're able to show up authentically and unapologetically you, focusing on what you want to offer the world, your gifts and your impact. And personal branding, it allows you to get paid to be you. It's simply skill sets that you learn, like with any new job, Or, for example, becoming a yoga teacher, right? I didn't just walk into a yoga studio and just start teaching yoga. I had to sign up for a program, a container. I signed up and I committed to months of training, unpaid training to be specific, right? Where I was learning the skill sets and I worked with mentors, people that already were, you know, amazing yoga teachers. I learned from them, right? And so that's what you get to do. You get to be taught through our automated online platform, and it's all self-paced, self-led. You get to go at your own pace, right? So personal branding, it has become a requirement, especially for anyone looking to grow their business in 2025 and beyond. Right? People want to know the person behind the product or service before they buy. And a personal brand enables you to cultivate that know, like, and trust with your audience. So when you have an offer, they are ready to listen and they are ready to buy. And once you've created your personal brand, you can begin to monetize your social media, right? And so shift number two is health freedom, right? I'm not here to make any health claims. One moment. Right, so I'm not here to make any health claims. I've got a health disclaimer at the bottom. I'm simply here to share my story with you. About 2.5 years ago, my husband was struggling with asthma and he had a prescription for his inhaler and he was using it 7, 8, 9 times a day. And he was waking up in the middle of the night and he was wheezing and he couldn't breathe. And I was like, Roger, we have got to get this figured out. And so we made an appointment with a naturopathic doctor, and she went through a bunch of tests with him. She did a GI test, a gastrointestinal test, a poop test, and the poop test came back saying that his body was only absorbing 20% of the nutrients from the food that he was eating. And I was blown away because we prioritize eating, health conscious foods. And so I was like, oh my gosh, we're spending all this money on organic food and produce and whatnot, and his body's not absorbing it. And so we prayed and we were asking for an answer. And in that same week, my now mentor, my now sponsor, shared a masterclass just like this masterclass that you're watching. And the presenter said, this water helps your body absorb more nutrients from food. A light bulb moment went off. I was like, oh my gosh, we've been eating all the foods and we've been drinking tap water. We had a gravity filter, and filtering is not enough. Filtering is the first step. And so, what I learned is that ionization is the second step, which is what we will get into today. And so, we made a big investment and we took a massive leap of faith, right? I'm all about taking leaps of faith. And so we invested in one of these water machines. And within 3 weeks of drinking the water, I'm not making any health claims, we noticed that my husband was using his inhaler much less. And 2.5 years later, he no longer has a prescription for an inhaler, right? And it makes sense. You don't get it until you get it, right? Because you are water in human form, right? I am water in human form. Your body is at least 70% water. The earth is 70% water. The moon is 70% water, right? We are all connected. Your blood is 94% water, right? Basically water in human form, right? So it makes sense. So I want to encourage you to consider partnering with the ultimate high profit product, right? Water in its natural state is H2O. And when selecting 8.5 to 9.5 on the machine, the two hydrogen atoms become unstable from the O and they bond together and become H2, aka molecular hydrogen, right? So hold on one moment. And so H2 is commonly known as a free radical scavenger, and it's a powerful antioxidant in the body. And this electrically reduced hydrogen rich water works to restore your body to a more alkaline state, which is optimal for good health. And if you're somebody that likes to do your own research, I highly encourage you to go out and research this incredible life changing water. Go to PubMed or Google Scholar and type in electrolyzed reduced water or ERW or hydrogen rich water, and you are going to be blown away because H2 has a therapeutic potential for over 170 disease models, including Parkinson's, cancer, Alzheimer's, Crohn's disease, and more. And this is why our family drinks this water every single day and why we share it so passionately with others, right? And so, why I trust Enagic. Enagic is born in Okinawa, Japan, which is one of the blue zones of the world. And if you're not familiar, the blue zones of the world are where people live to be the longest. On average, they live to be 120 years old, the centennians, and they believe that the basis of vitality and long life is water, right? And so this isn't no like startup company. About 50 years ago, they began in 1974. And for the first 10 years, the first decade of their existence, they were strictly in Japanese hospitals. And today, they have offices in over 43 locations in 26 different countries, right? And so they were serving this water to their patients in Japanese hospitals. And eventually, Mr. Oshiro, the CEO, had a vision to expand into Japanese homes. And that's where they went for the next 10 years. And then eventually, he had this global vision, right? And so we've just barely penetrated the United States market. We've only been in the US for the last 20 years. So if you're just hearing about this water, it is okay. It is just penetrating the market, right? And so, what separates this, why I believe there is truly no competition in the water ionizer market, is that this is the only certified medical grade device in the industry, right? They went through so many certifications in order to get this certification, right? Japanese do things differently, they think differently, and this is the only company that is an original equipment manufacturer. That stands for OEM, which means that they have complete control over everything. They create the nuts, the bolts, everything is created in-house. Even the cardboard boxes are created in-house in Japan. And this isn't just drinking water. This one machine, but at the press of a button, is going to help you get back to nature with non toxic living and help save the planet by eliminating single use plastics, right? At the push of a button, you get access to strong acidic water, which is hypochlorous acid. This is the body's natural immune fighter. It's a substance produced in white blood cells to keep the body healthy, right? This kills 99.9% of germs, and it's stronger than bleach, and it's non-toxic to humans and animals. You can use the strong acidic water to clean your kitchen utensils, your countertops, and more to prevent cross-contamination. And Japanese hospitals were using the 2.5 to sanitize medical equipment in between surgeries. That is the power of this water, right? And this, you also get access to strong alkaline water, which is a degreaser and an emulsifier most commonly used for removing oils and pesticides from fruits and veggies, and it can be used as a household cleaner. My husband actually uses the 11.5 to clean his bike chain off, right? That is how powerful this is. And you also get access to, at the push of a button, beauty water. The machine beeps when this comes out because this is not for drinking, and the skin's healthy natural pH is between 5.4 and 5.9, which is slightly acidic. This is why acidic water is a 100% effective natural way to return the skin and hair to its natural pH. It's terrific to use for gentle cleaning and beauty care. Right, so I actually got rid of all of the beauty products in my home when I got this machine. I simply use the 6.0 and I splash it on my face, a couple of times a day, and I put it in a spray bottle and spray it on my, like, I don't use any makeup or anything. I splash it on my hair as conditioner. Like, I don't use any products in my house anymore. I got rid of everything underneath my sink and replaced it with the 2.5 and the 11.5. That is the power, right? So now you understand the importance of water in your everyday life. So let's talk about how you can change your water, change your life. Right? So I want you to ask yourself, Is the way you're currently creating an income, is it going to pay you for the rest of your life, whether you are working or not? Or will the money stop coming in when you stop working, right? 2.5 years ago, the money, when I stopped working, the money stopped coming in, right? And so I knew there had to be another way. I knew there had to be another way, right? So shift number 3 is financial freedom, the cash flow quadrant. If you are not familiar with Robert Kiyosaki, I would encourage you to go grab his book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. This is one of the top 5 books that changed my life. He also wrote a book called The Cash Flow Quadrant, which is 4 ways to produce an income. And most likely, you are only familiar with the left-hand side of the cash flow quadrant. At least I was 2.5 years ago, right? So this is linear income. Linear income, it might keep the bills paid, but it's going to be hard to build the future that you desire if this is your only source of income. In other words, once you stop working, so does your income, right? So most likely you did the whole college thing, you graduated, you got a job, right? You were trading time for money, you were an employee, and maybe eventually you decided to become self-employed, right? So now not only do you have a job working potentially 8 hours a day, now you most likely own a job and you're probably working 24 hours a day, right? Wearing all of the hats now, maybe trading your time for a little bit more money. This is where 95% of all the people are. And this is where 5% of all the money is, right? So I want to shift your perspective. I want to transition you over to the right-hand side of the quadrant. This is where 5% of all the people are, and this is where 95% of all the money is, right? So this is this idea of leveraged income, the idea that the time and effort you put into your business today will give you exponential results in terms of your earning, right? In other words, with leveraged income, the work you put in once will generate recurring profits, right? So you become a business owner, and so now you own systems, or you become an investor, right? You take your money and you turn it into more money. I don't know about you, but they were not teaching me this in college. My mind was completely blown when I first learned about this. And so I want to blow your mind even further, and that water and wealth are intrinsically linked. Think about it for a moment, right? Make it rain. Currency or currency. Cash flow. Income stream. Money is pouring in. You're streamlining your business, or you're opening up the floodgates, right? And magic is one of the most profitable compensation plans of the last century. The Japanese think differently. This is an untapped market. The global water ionizer market was valued at 2.3 billion in 2021, and it's expected to expand at a rate of 6.94% during the forecasted period, reaching 3.4 billion by 2027, right? So the formulation stage, the beginning of this company was basically like the first 40 years, right? Up until like 2016, right? They were, doing things one-on-one, doing water demos for people. And then we moved into the acceleration phase around 2016 when the internet became a thing, right? And that now our message is spreading wider and faster, right? And so in 2023, we did $1.3 billion in sales. In January of 2024, this company had their biggest month ever. February 2024 was even bigger. March 2024, even bigger, right? And that was 2024 was just exponential growth. And it's predicted that we move into momentum between 2025 and 2027. Hello, the age of Aquarius, the golden age, right? So currently we're at about 1.5% market penetration. It's predicted that we're going to penetrate the market, which is 3%. So the better time to get started was yesterday, and the best time to get started is right now, because this company has the most profitable compensation plan I have ever seen. And this is a fair for all commission structure, right? So we'll take a K8, the flagship unit. For example, the investment in one of these machines, right? So this is an asset versus a liability, right? A liability depreciates over time versus an asset. You receive your return on investment, right? So unlike a car, which is a liability, it depreciates over time, right? Think about it. There's many different ways to get a car to pay it off over time, right? There's many different ways to finance it. And same goes with this asset, right? There's a $5,480 investment, and you can get started with $0 down out of pocket, leverage other people's money with payments as low as $200 to $250 monthly, right? When I say that we found a way out of no way, we found a way out of no way, and we leverage other people's money in order to get this unit into our house. And 2 years later, it's completely paid off now, right? So this is, think of it like pieces of the pie, pieces of pizza, or even envelopes, right? So each envelope has $351. And so it's an 8 point patented commission structure. And so each point is worth $351. So you begin your journey as a 1 point agent in your 1A lane. And so you are earning one piece of the pie. And your sponsor, depending on where they are ranked in the business, they receive the other 7 pieces of the pie, right? So as you rank up to a 2 point agent, then they receive 6 points. As you rank up to a 3 point agent, they receive 5 points, right? So as you grow, as your business grows, you start earning more, right? It's the most genius commission structure. And my goal for you is to earn all 8 pieces of the pie as quickly as possible. I want to see you earning that $2,800 in total commission, right? So a look at the numbers on a single K8 sale, right? So your 1A lane is sales 1 and 2 in your organization, right? So say, for example, you make a sale to Aaron and Amy, you receive 351 and 351, and then you close out that 1A lane for life and you move into your 2A lane. And direct sale number 3 is to Jen. So you receive 2 pieces of the pie, or $702, right? So now you've got 3 total sales for a grand total of $1,404. And the thing about this company is that they utilize a cumulative sales, right? So understanding leveraged income, right? Jen makes her first 5 sales. Jen earns $2,808, right? So Jen received 351 and 351 in her 1A lane, and then 702, 702, 702 in her 2A lane, right? So she earned that $2,808, and you now have a $702 override lane, right? This is a cumulative sales, right? Jen makes 5 sales in your 2A lane, and you earn $702 per sale. So now you've earned 702 times 5, you earn $3,510. These are your indirect sales, right? $3,510. So now you have 8 total sales. You've earned $4,914. You have almost made your return on investment, right? Sale number 11 in your business is to Alex. Alex is a go-getter. Alex makes 10 sales. Alex receives $6,318, and you now have a 1,053 override lane, right? So you receive 1,053 times 10. You earned $10,530 in indirect commissions, right? That's the magic of this opportunity. That is why this is a longevity business. I don't know about you, but I don't know any other company who pays this kind of commission on a product that nobody has and the majority of the people will eventually own. And there is easy financing for everyone. And success loves speed, right? We've got many different ways to get started. We've got trifecta, quad, and fast track, right? So this company has a small product line. The K8 is what we've been talking about, the flagship ionizer. The Anespa is the shower unit. The M-Guard is the EMF harmonizer for your home. And the Ukon is the cleanest turmeric supplement that you will ever come across. It's grown in Kangen water and it's grown in Okinawa, Japan, right? And so this is what we call the quad package, right? So you can see as a 6A lane, 6 point agent, you go from receiving $2,106 on a single unit to $4,038 with a quad. And then the fast track package is, the reality is that I know you want to travel the world too. And so investing in a second unit to travel with, this is a medical grade water ionizer. So you can actually travel with this unit. It it packs into a carry-on, and it doesn't count as a carry-on, right? You can take this with you, travel with you all over the world. And so that is the reality. The fast track is investing in a second unit for you to be able to travel the world, right? So, is your goal to make consistent five-figure months? With high ticket items, it takes 2 to 5 sales. And with low ticket items, you need 200 plus sales, right? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with low ticket sales, right? I love teaching yoga. I will continue to teach 30 to $100 yoga classes and workshops because it brings me passion and joy, and I pair it with a high ticket offer, right? Because I desire to make consistent five-figure months, right? And so one of the best perks of Enagic is our long-term vision, our generational wealth income, right? So I mentioned Enagic closed $1.3 billion in sales, and get this, they paid 800 million to distributors in 2023 alone, right? Not many people can say that they have heard of such generosity from a company. 51% in commissions, right? People trust and buy from people they know. So instead of spending money, instead of putting that 51% into Costco and Walmart and these big box out companies, right? And Magic puts the power back into the distributor's hands, right? This is how you shift the paradigm. This is how you shift the economy, right? Putting the money back into the pockets of the people, back into the pockets of ordinary people just like you who desire to live extraordinary lives, right? And Enagic also set up a bonus program that starts when you reach 6A, and 6A is 101 total sales in your organization, right? This is where you start unlocking the bonuses. And the career path, 6A 2-3, is where you unlock legacy income, right? This is where you unlock $5,000 monthly bonus checks on top of your commissions for the rest of your life, right? And so my mentor that I work with, he actually has 3 IDs. He is about to rank up to 6A 2-7, so he's receiving $40,000 monthly for life. He also has another ID in his wife's name, receiving 6A 2-5, $15,000 a month for life. And then for funsies, to create these strategies that we are teaching you, he ranked it up to 6A 2-4, which is an additional $10,000 monthly for life, right? 40 plus 15 plus 10 is $65,000 a month that he gets to pass on to his 4.5-year-old daughter, Valentina, and his newborn baby boy, right? This is the power of this incredible business model, right? And so the fourth shift is time freedom, right? To truly automate a business, you have to have multiple processes, right? Funnels and emails and marketing and sales systems in place to support the back end of your business, right? So this is literally a business in a box. All of this stuff is already done for you. Automation allows your digital shopfront to be open 24/7 so that sales can be made without you being involved every step of the way, so that you can make sales while you are sleeping, while you are playing with your kiddos, while you are out teaching yoga, while you are playing in nature, doing the things that you love to do, right? If you don't have automation in an online income, you don't have time leverage. You're still self-employed. You don't have that full freedom, and you are a slave to your time. Automation is having these systems that work for you in the background, and they are vital for a freedom business, right? So I'm sure you're like, okay, Leanne, I see the vision, but how much time do I need? And I built my business in the pockets of my day. I built my business waking up early in the morning before my daughter was waking up. And you could wake up early in the morning, you could stay up late at night, whatever you desire, right? You can build this in the pockets of your time, 2 hours a day, 2 to 4 hours a day, or full throttle gets to look like 4 to 6 hours, right? And we encourage you to take a look at your day, at your time, right? I'm sure that you're probably already spending money scrolling on social media. And we want to encourage you to flip your perspective and become a content creator and share value with the world and turn your content into into an income stream, right? And so, final thoughts for you. Are you ready to experience the paradigm shift, right? Are you ready to experience the paradigm shift? The current system is not working, and that is how a paradigm shift begins, right? The established way of seeing the world no longer functions, and mentorship is vital. We have got a mentorship starting at the beginning of next month where you get to learn the fast track strategy to achieving 4A in 30 days. No guarantees on this. I only work with go getters, people that are ready to change their life, change their circumstances. And so the next step for you is to click the link below this video to schedule a vision call with me, to share where you currently are, to share your vision of where you want to go, and see if this would, in fact, be a good fit, because this might not be a good fit. And that's okay. There's only one way to find out. So, if this sounds like the opportunity that you would like to explore, let's connect. Click the link below this video and take the next step. Take the next step. That's all it is taking it one step at a time, one step at a time. I'm rooting for you. I'm cheering you on. I love you so much, and I can't wait to see you on the inside.